Hey, happy Friday. How's it going, everyone? I hope you all had an incredible week, and I'm really excited to be sharing this topic with you today. It's something that I think is so important. You guys know that I talk about content creation all the time. It's something that I'm really passionate about and slightly obsessed with, and with good reason. Content marketing is pretty much how I've built my business, hi Denise, thanks for joining me. Hi Lisa. If you're live, thank you so much. I really love when you're here with me, and if you have questions, let me know. And if you're watching the replay, as always, just pop a replay in the comments. So good to see you guys. So let's dive in. I am talking about content and how to get the most mileage out of your content, and this is super important. So as I was saying, I am obsessed with content. Content marketing is how I've built my business, how I've grown my business, how I've had a lot of amazing opportunities. I've been invited to guest blog for people. I've been invited to be on podcasts, and I've gotten fully booked. And I really attribute most of it to the content that I create. Now, of course, relationships are a big part of it, but I will say that content is a really huge way that you build relationships with your audience. So creating content is a non-negotiable as an online business owner. I've said that multiple times, and hopefully you all agree with me by now. But what I want to talk about today is how to make sure that you're really getting the most mileage out of your content, because content is money. And if you're just posting on Instagram and then that's it, like it's gone, maybe a handful of people see it and that's it, you never use that content again, well, you're seriously just like pretty much throwing money in the garbage. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's really, you've taken the time to create this content and you need to be sharing it everywhere, sharing it in multiple places. So it's all about repurposing your content, reusing your content in different ways. Because if you've taken the time to create it in the first place and it's something that's valuable and something that resonates with your ideal client, well, you want as many people as possible to see it. And repetition is a good thing. So one thing I hear, it's a fear that I hear from a lot of my clients is, well, I don't want to post the same thing on Facebook and on Instagram, or I can't send the same thing to my email list and on my blog. Well, that is not true at all, because here's a few things. The people that are following you on various platforms may not be the same, right? There's some people who really prefer Instagram. They spend a lot of their time on Instagram. Then there's other people who much prefer Facebook and who are on Facebook. And then the people on your email list, maybe they're not as active on social media, or maybe they are. If somebody sees your post multiple times, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Repetition is actually how we learn, right? If you think of a toddler. That's probably a really easy example, and one that that I see in my daily life because I have a 3-year-old. But how do toddlers learn? It's through repetition. Like, how many times do they ask you the same question about like why, or why can't I do this, and why this, and why this, and they're trying to do something that they shouldn't do, like touch the stove, or like you can't just tell them once. They're going to keep trying, they're going to keep testing, and it's all about repetition. Repetition is how we learn. And social media is so crowded these days. Like, people are just bombarded with information. So just because somebody sees your post one time, maybe they never even finished reading it. Maybe they got distracted. Maybe they were really interested and they just didn't have a chance. So seeing things multiple times is not at all a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. And yeah, as Denise is saying, repetition creates awareness. It's like, it helps people know your brand better. And it's how we learn. So I have never once, I use my content in as many ways as possible. If I create an email for my list, or let's say I create a blog post. Let me give you an example. Let's say I create a blog post that's 5 ways. This is one that I just shared on Adrian's podcast this week, which was all about copywriting. So it's a blog about like 5 ways to write more compelling copy or something along those lines. So I've written this blog post. It's really packed with value. So that's great, but what else can I do with it? How else can I share it? Since there's 5 tips in that blog, I can break it down into 5 smaller posts that I'm going to share maybe on Instagram, maybe I'm going to share in my Facebook group. Then I'm going to take the blog and also send it as an email to my list, because not everybody's going to your blog to check it on a regular basis. So there's different ways you can do that. You can either post the entire blog into your email and just send it as an email, or you can email like a snippet of it and then say, click here to read the rest of the blog, if you really want to direct people to your website and get them on your website. But the way that you do it really doesn't matter. The point is that you want to be sharing your content as much as possible so that people see it because you've taken the time to create it. So like I said, if I've written an article, a blog post about 5 tips to blah, 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 well, those 5 tips can easily be broken down into smaller content that I can use on social media, like on Instagram or in my Facebook group. Then, if it's written content, I can always address it in a video like I'm doing now. I mean, I haven't written a blog on repurposing content, so maybe I'll turn this live stream into a blog, right? You can go both ways. But some people like to consume written content. Other people really, really enjoy watching videos. And videos are amazing for converting. You can build trust a lot faster through a video because people get to see you, they get to hear your voice, they get to just kind of know a bit more about your personality, and there's a lot more that people can learn about you from a video than they can from reading a blog post or a post on Instagram, for example. So video should definitely be something that you try to incorporate a bit more in your marketing strategy. I know it can feel uncomfortable if you're not used to it. It's just practice. I mean, with writing, with video, with anything really, the only way that you're going to get better and get more comfortable with it is by practicing it. So you can take written content and address it further in a video for people who prefer video format. Or you can take a video you've done and turn it into written content, right? But what I'm trying to get across here is that posting one thing on Instagram and then just never sharing it anywhere else ever again is just a real waste of your time, and it is like throwing money away because content is money and you want to share it as much as possible. So think about creating your content, but then as much time as you spend creating your content, you want to also be promoting your content and sharing your content across various platforms. I have never once had a person, send me an email or message me and say, I got an email from you and then I saw the same thing in your Facebook group. That was so annoying. Nobody has ever done that. And I mean, if they found it annoying, they're free to leave my group or free to leave my email list. People can do what they want, and clearly if they found that annoying, they were never going to buy from you. So farewell, right? It's not a big deal if people decide to leave your email list or unsubscribe or leave your group or any of those things. It's just making room for the right people. So you really shouldn't take those things personally, but you really shouldn't worry about repeating content. People don't care. People like repetition, and it helps people get to know you better, and to really, if you post, I post about content a lot because it's something I believe in, something I'm passionate about. So people associate me with content creation and probably with copywriting because I talk about copy a lot too, about niche. I talk about narrowing your niche a lot. So these are messages that I talk about on a regular basis. And the repetition is a good thing because that's how I get known for those things. So don't be afraid of sharing content in multiple places. And also, let's say you posted something a couple months ago. You want to okay, two things came to mind. One is you want to keep track of like which content is really resonating with people. So if there's a Facebook post that got a lot of likes and a lot of comments, well, good to keep note of that, right? Because you want to create more of that kind of content that obviously resonates with your ideal client. The other thing is 3-4 months down the road, you are going to have new followers. You're going to have a whole bunch of new people in your community, and they haven't seen the things that you posted months ago. You know, most people, when they're in a Facebook group, they just maybe look at the whatever's popping up in their feed, or maybe the last few things that are posted. They're not going to go search like months worth of content. So they've missed out on a lot of the great content you've created. So 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, you can easily reuse things that you've done in the past. Maybe you want to put a new spin on it because in 6 months you've gained new insight, you've worked with new clients, you have new things to say about the topic. But even if you just share the exact same thing in 6 months from now, I guarantee nobody will notice. And even if they do, like, who cares? They could use a refresher 6 months from now, in my opinion. Okay, so I hope this is helpful and it's given you ideas for ways to reuse, repurpose your content. It is so important. Content, I've been talking about content a lot lately, and I started off by saying this, but I just so believe in content marketing. It is the best way to build your business organically. You know, sometimes people ask me questions like, should I invest in Facebook ads or paid advertising? And really, like, if you're not able to grow your business organically, then just throwing a bunch of money at ads isn't the solution. You know, you have to get good at actually like growing your community, growing your business organically first. There's no sense if you don't have an email, like a funnel that converts. So what I mean by that, you know, for people who may not be as familiar, is like you have a lead magnet, some sort of freebie that entices people to join your email list. And then after they get that, there's a series of emails that go out that are nurturing them, like getting them acquainted with you and the work that you do, and like build trust with them, and then ultimately, you know, get them on the phone or have them purchase something from you, whatever it is that your path is. Like for some people it's booking a discovery call, for other people it's maybe purchasing just a lower priced product. Like it doesn't have to look the same for everybody. But if you have all that set up and you've had like hundreds of people go through that and nobody is buying or getting on the phone with you, well, guess what? Like throwing money at ads is not going to do anything for you. It's not going to work. You're just throwing money away. You have to know that your system, like your funnel, is actually working before you throw paid advertising at it. So content marketing is the way that you build your business organically. You need to get to know your ideal client. What are their needs? What are their struggles? What are their pain points, their desires? And how are you the solution to that? And then you want to create tons of great content that's not only educational, but also inspirational, that also shows, you know, how you relate to them, how you can understand them, maybe sharing client stories, sharing your own stories. Like, these are the things that you want to be talking about regularly to build trust with your audience. And this is exactly what I help people with in my Content to Clients Intensive. So I'm sure you've seen me share about it lately a lot, and I want to talk about it some more. I'll share a link to details. But the Content to Clients Intensive, it is so valuable. It is such a game changer because, like I said, content marketing is the thing. It's grown my business. It's what's helping a lot of my clients grow their business. And if you're not creating great, consistent content on a regular basis, there's probably a good chance you're not consistently attracting clients either. So you can't rely on inspiration. You can't just like half-ass it. You have to create really good content, and you have to do it in a strategic way. And the way that I'm able to do it, I mean, I only work 15 hours a week. I spend a ton of time with my son. I'm enjoying the summer. And the last thing I want to do is be scrambling to like think about content to create or feel like I have no clue what I'm doing. So that's why having a 6-month content plan is what's allowed me to be so efficient and to know exactly what I'm going to create and know that my content is working for me, and it's peace of mind. I don't have to be like wondering or worrying about, oh no, I don't have anything planned for next week, because I do. I have a plan for 6 months from now. And like I said, at the end of that 6 months, you're pretty much golden. If you've created 6 months worth of content, you can just like really enjoy the rewards and the benefits of that, because at that point you can just like start to repurpose and reuse heavily, because you're going to have so many new people in your community who have never seen the content that you've created. So having the 6-month content plan, it's game changer. And that's exactly what I help people with in the Content to Clients Intensive. So it's 2 hours plus like a week or two of content reviews, just so, you know, to help you get into the flow and help you learn how to create content that's actually going to resonate with your ideal client. We start off by getting super clear on your ideal client and their needs, because, you know, a lot of people who come to me like think that they think they know their ideal client, but there's always more work that can be done to really know them and to know how to speak to them in a way that's going to attract them to you. And the beautiful thing is, like, once you create content like this, when you get people on the phone with you for a call, for a sales call, it's so easy. It's not like you don't really have to sell them, because they're already sold. They're sold on you. And that's the thing. You know, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but I was thinking about it last week. So just kind of a side note, a story that I can share with you. I was, there's this guy that I go to get pedicures. He's just local. I can walk there. It's a salon. And this guy owns the salon. He's a Vietnamese guy, and he's like amazing. His salon is so clean, and he's such a perfectionist, and he takes his time, and he's wonderful. And he does have some other people working for him. So I called last week and I was like, hey, Justin, can I, do you have any spots available for a pedicure today? And he's like, no, I'm fully booked, but if you want to see one of my other, colleagues, then we can see you today. And I said, no, I'll wait for you. And he wasn't available until a few days later, and that was fine. I mean, having a pedicure is not, like, there's no rush or urgency there, and I was happy to wait, but I was waiting for him, because there's a ton of people who could do a pedicure, right? And same with dietitians, same with health coaches, nutritionists, right? There are a lot of us out there, and the reason that people are gonna buy from you is because of you. So it's like how I wanted to wait for Justin to do my pedicure, because sure, the other people could have done a good job, but I'm sold on Justin. I like Justin. I trust him. He's done my pedicures before, and he's done a really good job, and that's why I waited for him. And so it's the same, when people ask me, well, like, there's tons of other dietitians who work with GI patients, or a ton of other dietitians who do intuitive eating. Like, what makes me different? Why would anybody want to work with me? Well, the things that's different is you. People are buying you now, because it's a crowded marketplace, and people are not choosing, they're not just like, oh, I want this particular service. They're like, I want this service from you. And the way that they're going to know that is by the content that you create, by getting on video, by creating great written content and sharing it consistently, showing your personality, sharing your stories, the things that I talk about all the time, okay? And that's exactly what, like I said, what I help you do in the Content to Clients Intensive. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I will share the link to the information about it, as well as a link to book a call if you have questions and you want to chat about it further. I am happy to do that with you, but I so believe in this. This is really the thing that's going to help you grow your business and attract the right people to you. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, and I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.